All right, the Oklahoma Sooners got three big names pulling up for this coming weekend because we are in OV season. So 3 official visits, 3 players I want to jump into real quick because I'm kind of curious to see what y'all think about them and the chances the Sooners can land them. Personally, I think that it's a long shot on all 3, but it's fun to talk about them because if we do hit on these long shots, boy, y'all going to lose y'all mind. So let's look at these players, talk about some OV stuff and all of that. Before we do that, welcome to Sooner Later Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. All right. So 3 players will be in town this coming weekend doing their official visits that we have confirmed. Shout out to my guy PG over at the PG Show. Please go give him a like, subscribe, as well as a comment in one of his videos. He does a great job of keeping a list together. We have like a joint document. And honestly, he does most of the work because he does a really good job of keeping up with documenting it. But we talk about it a lot in our Discord. So in the Discord, we've got a ton of stuff in there, so you can check that out. We got a link in the description below if you want to join the family and chop it up. But here's 3 guys that we know will be coming. And I'm going to tell you how I feel about them pulling up. So let's get into these predictions real quick. First up, you can see here, we've got Darius Afalava. Now, I've done a video on Darius. He is a 3-star top 500 interior offensive lineman. Nice size at 6'5", 280. And he's very nimble on the feet. He's out of Lehigh, Utah, right? He's a Utah kid. And he was friends with Ogumoro, who ended up committing to Tennessee. It's funny because Colin Kennedy over there at Sooner Illustrated, y'all know he's friend of the show. He was talking about him and how these two came across each other on an OV and on a visit at a school and realized that they knew each other in like kindergarten or first grade or something like that. So it's kind of fun seeing that they reconnected with each other. I know Ogumoro is a military kid, so he goes all around, but Afalava is one that Oklahoma, I know, has been really turning up the intensity on. He is, like I said, out of Utah, and the big thing with him is that his recruitment has blown up. Now, like I said, he's a 3-star now, but there's a reason why there's a ton of schools after him, right? He's got the list from LSU, UCLA, Washington, Tennessee, Michigan. The big boys are after him, especially those with big-time offensive lines. Oregon's after him, A&M. He has a very impressive list. Notre Dame, right? So he's not a player that he seems like he's very much underrated, especially because of this offer list. Teams know talent, and when you get a long list of everybody jumping on board, usually means something in there. But we did a big video on him. We talked about him. I like the way he moves, and I think he's someone that's versatile enough that could probably play throughout the entire inside. And so, of course, Oklahoma's all over him. If I was to give you a ranking on him, out of 10, I'd say Oklahoma probably has like a 4 chance. I'm not super confident in this one yet. It's kind of one of those, the offensive line recruiting seems to be a little, I feel like we're swinging for the fences. And I'm going to explain that at the end of the video at why on the O-line and D-line things seemed a little bit weird. But again, we'll talk about that. Stick around. I'll explain what I mean in more detail. But that's Darius. Let me know what you guys think as far as chances Oklahoma can land him. Next up on the list is going to be a tight end, Bram. He's out of Derby, Kansas. Now, 6'4", 2.25 right now. I think he's bigger than that. 4-star, top 100 player nationally on consensus and composite. Everybody's got him ranked as a 4-star. Dude's elite. He is one that I would love for us to be able to land. I feel like everybody's already got it in. I saw Wilt Fong as well as Tom Loy over at when they were both at 247 had put in their predictions for Oregon. I think it's still Oregon, but the cool thing with Bram is he's not committing it to the 29th. His last visit, as you all can see here on the screen, at Oregon. And so since he'll go Oklahoma, Tennessee, then Oregon. So if Oregon does end up winning the sweepstakes, it won't be much of a shocker because he's going there last, right? And so in recruiting, if you're the last visit, that usually means you're in the best best driver seat. And we'll talk about all the visits coming up for the 14th, which is Party at the Palace, and then the 21st through 23rd, which is the Champion Barbecue Weekend. Champion Barbecue Weekend is the one that's the fullest, and it also has all the commits coming back to do their OV. So you're going to see a lot of big time names on that list. And I got a player that I'm putting together a video for you all that will drop on Thursday, a wide receiver comparison, because there's 3 wide receivers I know Oklahoma's heavily into, and I'm kind of curious to see which one we can actually pull out and win. But yeah, Brom's a beast. Like he is a very talented tight end. He's at the 2 for me out of 10. I don't see us having a big chance with him. I sense that we may have a commit that could play tight end instead, because they play tight end in high school now. We'll talk about that. I'll wrap up the show on this video on that. But we've got a player that I think can play both sides. So, all right. Last one on the list of people that will be in town is going to be Kade Pietrzak. I hope I said that correct. I haven't found any videos with anybody actually interviewing and saying his name, but Kade Pietrzak out of West Fargo, North Dakota. Now, I've been kind of throwing the googly eyes at him on social medias. 4-star, top 350 player in the country by consensus and composite. 6'5", 240 defensive lineman. Plays on the edge. He's kind of beastly, right? And when I saw him, he had Oklahoma in his top 4. And I thought it was weird. I was like, I'm going to be honest, I have not heard about this kid at all. Like, there's nothing about him that said Oklahoma had a chance, because I hadn't heard anything. But then Parker Thune dropped a tweet about him. And I was like, okay, let me go dig. Got to go do some digging and look him up, right? And then I saw the top 4 drop for him. He's got Kansas State, Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Oklahoma. And based upon the visits, we're second. Wisconsin is going on right now. He visits us next. And then the other 2 have not been scheduled yet, right? He hasn't scheduled Kansas State, and he hasn't scheduled Nebraska. Now, the big thing with Kade is he's strong. Cleans 350, benches 345, squats 500. And he's got a good motor. So, even watching the film here, you can see this man can go. I like what I see out of him. And honestly, I do like our chances, right? Parker Thune dropped a future cast on him, like right after talking about him. And I was kind of just like, hey, man, I need to do some digging and see if this even is realistic. But I think Parker may be on to something, right? I haven't seen or heard anybody else really talk much about him yet. It's still been relatively quiet, but he'll come visit this weekend. Of course, it's going to be lit. We're going to do what we can. I'm kind of curious to what our plan is in that capacity. But yeah, I think he's one of the defensive linemen we're going to go heavy after. I know that we're still after Cole Breeler. Saw something about him trending towards Stanford recently. Not sure what that means. Haven't seen any additional information on that. But at the same time, I know that education was critical in his recruitment, especially coming from Hun. But, he still got his visit. So we'll see what it looks like once the visits go down. If his visit does not happen, then, of course, that's your indicator right there. But I don't think there's going to be any indication there that quickly. But I do like what I see out of Kade. He's a big boy, and he can move. At that size, you can't beat that, right? So let me know what y'all think about Kade. And so my thought around the tight end piece, right? We've got some players that can play tight end, right? You've got like a Trinae Washington, right? He's actually at the size to be able to do a little tight end. I've seen him do that. Marcus James has played some tight end at Carl Albert. He's a linebacker, but I've also seen him play tight end. Alexander Shield Knight, I've seen him. He has the capabilities of playing tight end, even at his size. But he's 6'3", 220 right now. He's probably big. He's probably about 250 at this point. But there's a few players on the commitment side that possibly could go ahead and move over to the tight end side. I don't know. I know we're going after CJ Nixon, who plays edge as well as tight end. There's another option. But I did a video on the Unfair Sports channel, and I pointed out that, to me, on the tight end side and the Joe John Finley piece, he may need to focus on the portal and not on recruits. I think he's going to have a lot more success there. because right now we haven't proven that we even use our tight ends. That's kind of where it hinders you. Not a lot of these kids want to come in and just be blockers, right? They don't want to be just H-backs and go out there and block all the time. They want to see that you're going to do what you can to get them pro, and going pro requires for you to catch some passes. We've got to prove that this season. I think Seth Luttrell is going to do that as well. And so on the last piece, defensive line and offensive line is kind of fascinating because it does feel like with Afalava, and it feels like we are really swinging for the fences on the offensive line. So we'll go after Darius. I know that we're going to go heavy after him, but it does look like we're going hardcore for the 5-star tackles. Fasusi, Haywood, Lamont Rogers, right? Andrew Babalola, which I think Babalola's out. Looks like he's got a fong bomb to Stanford. But I think that we're going heavy in on the 5-star tackles, and we're just going to toss it and see what we can win. So I know that we're in on the NIL game. That ain't ever it. It's going to come down to other stuff, but I do believe that we have some good chances. So, want to drop this for y'all. It's been a bit since I've dropped anything on this channel. Coop dropped something on Foger, who looks like he can play between the interior and the exterior. So, see how that goes. Hop in the comments. Let me know who y'all want to hear about. That's this weekend's, guys. Check them out. I am excited about seeing them. So, we'll dive deeper into that. And if you made it this far, like the content, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hey, we got to grow this channel. We're sitting at 1,000 on this one, and the goal is to get closer to 5,000 by season. And so we'll try to drop a whole bunch of videos on offers that are coming down the line just so you guys can see who's who and get you all excited. So, all right, another video coming later this week. I'm going to talk wide receivers, but check out one of these two here on the screen. You can do it that way as well, and we'll talk soon.